Okay, so we're on session 2 with Shondell Varcianna.
Yeah.
She is a great, she's becoming a great friend already, so I'm looking forward to it. So I asked her if she would talk to us a little bit about how she's building relationships online and with other people, because in business, everything we do is all based on relationships. So Shondell, what's some things you can tell somebody when they're just getting started? What are those tips? And then we'll take it a little bit deeper as we have this conversation.
Yeah. So definitely I would say the best way to build relationships is, well, first, once you know who your ideal customer is, then focus on where they are. Find out where they are. Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on they're probably on one of the social media sites, one more than another. For example, our ideal customer is on LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn daily. Every single day I'm on LinkedIn, and I spend 20 minutes a day on LinkedIn. I don't really spend much more than that. Mm-hmm. And what I do in that 20 minutes is I engage. Well, I have Sales Navigator, so I will save all of my, I'll save ideal connections every single day. I connect with 10 people every single day of my ideal customer. And then I'll save those connections and I'll categorize them. So when you save them on LinkedIn, you're notified every time they post. So for 20 minutes every day, I will engage with them. So whatever their posts are, if I can provide some value to their post, I will do that. And then I connect with 10 people every single day. So I do, and then I post every single day on LinkedIn as well.
Okay, I've got 2 questions now. Keep in mind, we're dealing with a lot of entrepreneurs who are new. So when you say engage, what exactly are you doing for engage? And then if someone's getting started and they're trying to figure out which social platform they're on, how would they identify which social platform they're on?
Okay, so first question, engage, that's just commenting on their post. So if they post something that is interesting to you, or you can provide value or add to what they posted, then you could just put your comment in there. So that's what I mean by engaging. Okay. And yeah, go ahead.
Before we go to the next question though, I want to make sure to point out, it's not just, I like that, good job. You want to make it part of the conversation, make sure you're engaging. If you're talking to somebody, oh, I like that, you're not going to say, I like that and walk away. You're going to have a conversation. Ooh, I like that you pointed out this one specific thing. Thank you for sharing it. It impacted my life. Make sure you're communicating that value and how that person, why you're interacting with them. Don't just say, hey, I like that. DM me. That's salesy. We don't do that, right?
No, and don't say DM me in a call. No, that's definitely not good.
Exactly. So that's why we're pointing this out, because people do that all the time.
That's such a great point, actually, because to take it a step further, what I do sometimes is I read because sometimes, a lot of people will share articles. So I'll skim the article and point out some things that popped out at me and just say, great article, love the point on, blah, blah, blah. This is how it resonated with me. I don't spend a lot of time doing that, but I read fast just because I own a writing company and I read all day. Right. So, but I'll usually do that, because then it just allows me to just have a better, just provide even more value if I've actually read the article that they wrote. And you can just read the first blurb, the first subheading. Yeah. If it pops out at you, if you can add something, then add it. If not, just move on to the next one. But over time, you'll start building a large, you'll have a lot of connections. So there'll be more than enough people that you can, choose 10, 20 people that you can just put a comment on.
Right. So, and people are putting information out there because they want to be noticed. They want to impact lives.
Yeah.
So when you tell them you're impacting lives, you're going to stand out above everybody else and like great posts. I hate those. I'll get 20 or 30 of those. Oh, this is great. Oh, I found this site. So glad I found it. And all this little just cheesy stuff.
Yeah.
People want to see specifics. The more specific you can be, the more powerful it's going to be for you and for them in building that relationship.
Absolutely. And it allows them to get to know you more too.
Exactly.
Which is, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, because people do business with, people who they like. So you want to, that will help people to like you or not like you. And if they don't, then they're not the right people to do business with.
Exactly. And that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally okay.
The best thing you could do is find somebody that you don't want to work with.
I love that.
Sorry. It is. I had somebody this week and we had a conversation with this person, and I told my intern, I was like, we won't work with that person. And he was like, I don't understand. Explain why. And I explained to him how she doesn't fit our criteria of what we want to do for business. I was like, this person's going to be way too much work for what we want to do.
Yes.
The things she said don't match up with our value system. And so I had to explain to him how that works. And that's what you've pointed out multiple times. Know your audience, know who your target is.
Absolutely.
You're not out there. If you're out there for everyone, you're missing the point. You got to be that specific people, that specific group of people. And that's why you got to find them. And how do we find them? How do we find out where they're out online?
You can join. There's many ways you can. Facebook is huge for finding out who your ideal customer is because there are so many groups for different things. So I would just go in Facebook and search for, who your ideal customer is. Just do some searches and see if your target audience is in them. And when you're searching in these groups, there may be, depending on who you're targeting and what your service or product is, there could be a lot of groups for what it is that you're doing. So your target audience could be in many groups, but you want to focus on groups that are active. So, and what I mean by active is they have multiple posts per day. So focus on groups that have a lot of people. So if you have a bunch of groups, join the groups that have the most people and the most posts per day. Because if you're going to join groups that have, they only post once a week and there's not much engagement. So there's not, when I say engagement in the groups, I mean, there's not a lot of people posting every single day, then you're not going to you're not going to get as much out of it. So you're not going to be able to see what people want because there's just not enough posts. So you want to join groups that have a lot of people and they post every single day and there's multiple posts every single day, because then you'll be able to see the patterns much faster. Right? You can go into these groups for a few minutes every single day and just pay attention to the patterns, pay attention to what people are talking about. Mm-hmm. And if you can add value, then you do that. So that's a great way to get to know your audience, is just taking the time out 20 minutes a day and just listen to what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And if you can say something, say it. If you can answer a question, answer it. And over time, people will get to know who you are. And then that's how you build the relationships.
Absolutely. And we're talking a lot about B2B, which is business to business people, but some people have business to direct to customer or client, however you phrase it. So when you're looking at something like that, these are called affinity groups. Mm-hmm. So affinity groups, somebody you relate to. So like bike riding, basketball, a certain sports team or a certain book club or whatever, those kind of things. So it's not all about just just a business. It can also be to that individual. Again, if you're going in there to sell, you're missing the point. You're going in there to make relationships. That's key. So tell us a little bit, what are some good tips on getting in these groups and making those relationships? I mean, yeah, you're going to comment and everything, but how do you take that comment or that conversation to the next step?
So over time, it's the consistency over time. Mm-hmm. You're wanting people to raise their hand. And at the end of the day, the more active you are in the group, the more people will see you, the more people will raise their hand. Now, if people are asking, you'll get some people. A lot of these groups, you cannot sell your services directly. Right. But if someone's asking a specific question, and you have the answer to that question, then that's not selling yourself. You can just say, well, we offer that. I offer that particular service. If you would like more information, direct message me. That's fine, because that's a direct question, but you wouldn't be able to just post, put your own post and say, this is what I do, please contact me. That's selling directly. But if someone asks, and that's why it's good to be in the groups for 20 minutes a day, because then you're a part of the conversation. You're hearing what people are talking about. So that's how you build the relationships. It does take time to build these relationships. You'll probably have to stay in there a minimum of 6 months just to find out what people are talking about. And that's every single day going in there. Again, 20 minutes is all you really need, just to take the time. And you can also search in these Facebook groups for specific conversations, right? Yeah. So you don't have to just scroll for those 20 minutes. You can search for specific keywords. And then you want to be searching for, something related to what it is you sell and what questions you think your ideal customer would have. And then you can pull up posts that are related to exactly what it is you do. And that just is a better use of your time. But that's how you would build the relationships over time. Now with LinkedIn, you can actually connect with people. So if your ideal customer is on LinkedIn, you should be connecting with your ideal customer every single day. I wouldn't suggest more than 10. But you should be connecting with your ideal customer every single day and commenting on their post, as well as posting on as well. So if whichever social media site your ideal customer is on, you want to be posting your own content on these social media sites daily, because that will also, because if they start following you, if they send you a connection request, they'll start to see the post that you post every single day as well. And the more you post, the more people will see. So that's what I would start to do. To get to know your ideal customer and to start to build those relationships. Yeah, and I want to point out not to get overwhelmed. If you follow 20 groups, pick 4 groups to focus on that week. And the next week, pick 4 more groups or rotate it through. Maybe Monday, you do a specific set, and Tuesday, you do another set. Don't get overwhelmed and don't spread yourself thin, because so many people get on there and they just want to do everything at once.
And if you limit yourself to that 20, 30 minutes, it's going to force your brain to find that ideal person quicker. And you start looking for that. So thank you, Shondell. You pointed out specifically how search in that forum that they're talking about something and find out what they're talking about and find those tidbits. So if you're a health person, look for the word health. Look for the word fitness if you're a fitness person. It finds in those threads, because that's going to be those tidbits that you're going to be able to communicate with and add value to.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask your opinion on something. There's all these unusual new websites, social media stuff coming up like Parler. Are you involved in any of those yet? Have you started that?
I haven't heard of Parler. What's that?
Oh, you haven't. It's kind of like, okay, so I'm going to explain it in my version. So let me just tell everybody, it's just my version, okay? Because we're playing with it. It's kind of like Facebook, but instead of just everybody posting, you almost have to swipe whether you want to connect to that person or not. It's almost like Tinder for business. It's really weird. But a lot of people are upset because of the way they feel like Facebook's limiting the way they communicate. So they're trying to move to some of these different social medias. There are probably 10 brand new growing social medias right now. And those of you who are listening, there's over 300 social medias out there, just so you know.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get into all that. We want to keep on to specifics. So you want to be the ones that are growing, the ones that are working for you. Because we talked before, if Parler grows better, you may want to get there. But keep in mind, people are leaving Facebook for a reason. So do you communicate? Do you connect with those people who are leaving for that reason?
I think I think what it really comes down to, because I get this question a lot too in TikTok. I know everyone knows what TikTok is, but a lot of people were asking if a lot of customers were asking if I think they should, build a brand on TikTok. And my answer is always, you should be where your target audience is. That's it. And the focus, and if your target audience is on multiple, focus on where they're at the most, where are they hanging out the most. That's all that matters, is where they are and how you could be a part of the conversation that they are already having, because they're already talking about something. Like in our situation, because we deal with financial institutions, they're already talking about buying a home, and most people can't buy a house cash, so they have to get a mortgage, right? But they're talking about what do I need to, they're talking about the area they want to live in. They're talking about what they need for a down payment. Like, they're having conversations. They may have contacted an agent. They're having these conversations, and you want to be there where they're having those conversations, and wherever that is, where are they congregating? And if they decide they want to move somewhere else because they don't like Facebook anymore and they want to move to Parler, yes, you should be at Parler. But if they haven't moved there, then no, you shouldn't be there. So, and you'll only know that when you're in front of them. Because if you're in these conversations, they're going to be talking about, I don't like this Facebook group anymore. I don't like Facebook anymore. They're going to be complaining, right? And then they're going to be talking about another site that they like. So yeah, if you hear that, and you'll know that when you're part of the conversation, then yes, you want to make a transition over to that. And you may want to be on both, right? Because not everybody may leave Facebook and go to the other website. You may need to be on both. But the point that I'm trying to make is, you have to be involved in the conversations that they're having for you to even know if they don't like one site over another, or if they like one site over another.
That's great. Great tips. I love that. So I'm going to give you my short version. For those who are listening, you're like, there's 5 million different places they could be. How do I know where they're at? Let's make it easy. TikTok, if your audience is below 30, they may be on TikTok. If your audience is between 20 and 40, they're probably going to be on Instagram. If your audience is between 20 and 60, probably they're going to be on Facebook. If it's personal, because you have to have a personal profile before you can have a business profile on Facebook. So it starts with personal. If they're corporate, if they're a corporation, you probably want to be on LinkedIn, which your ideal client is a corporate, so that's why they're there. And then YouTube is a very broad spectrum, but I want you to think of YouTube differently. YouTube is a search engine. So you want to answer the questions that your customers are asking in their head. Just like when you do your research, you know who you're looking for. Make sure you find out those questions they're asking. What is the top 10 questions your ideal client asks? Go find where they're asking that and answer it. Be there in front of them at all times. So put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, put it on LinkedIn, put it on Pinterest. Pinterest is another good status. It gears towards females in general, but that doesn't mean it's only females. It's board-based, so it's very creative, very visual. So you got to think about, where's my client? Where's my customers? What are they responding to? And one we were talking about before we got on here was Quora. Quora. Quora is where people ask questions like, what's a good social media platform? how can I start a newsletter? They ask those kind of questions. You go in there and see what people are asking and see how other people are answering it. So you can begin to engage in that conversation. That's another good place to find where people are asking specific questions. And you can answer those questions and become that expert person.
Absolutely.
So Shondell, you're really good at the expert factor. I love how you've set up your LinkedIn is where I found you. That's where we connected. So talk about that real quickly, just real short. What's some good tips for somebody to optimize their profiles to reach their ideal client?
So I actually took a LinkedIn course. That's how I'm able to share this stuff, because I'm always taking courses and just trying
to. Who knew? Awesome.
Yeah, I'm always taking courses. I take it.
Me too.
But yeah, so my LinkedIn profile is very specific and written in a way to attract people, to attract my ideal customer. So it's very clear what we do. We help X solve X problem by doing this. That's really what your profile should be.
It's easy, yes.
Detailed, very easy. No need to guess, because if someone goes on my profile and that's not what they need, then they just click off. Mm-hmm. So the easier you make it, and then we have samples there, we have our prices there, like everything is there. So usually when our ideal client reaches out to us, we get them as a customer because they've already checked us out. Like we just signed a really large we just signed a contract with a really large company, and they found me through LinkedIn, and they were ready to work with us before they even contacted us. That's because great. They had already checked me out, right? Yeah. They've already checked out our posts. They've already checked out our samples. I put everything there. So they kind of pre-screen themselves. Mm-hmm. So there's no wasted time, which makes it so much easier. So you can feel free to check out my LinkedIn profile. It is done from the course that I've taken a few LinkedIn courses. Mm-hmm. So this is from people who have tried and tested what works. And it does work, because we do get the majority of our business is from LinkedIn. So you can check me out on Shondell Varcianna. Just put in Shondell Varcianna on LinkedIn. Feel free to copy it, because it's not mine. So the words, the samples and all that is ours, but the actual formula is not mine. So, but use it, because it really, really works. And it's it also helps when people are searching, because a lot of people search for specific people on LinkedIn. So it really helps if your profile is very simple, detailed, to the point, and is speaking to your ideal customer, so that they can find you and reach out to you. It's not complicated. Sometimes you may read some profiles and you're not even sure what they do. Nobody's going to reach out if they're confused. A confused buyer is no buyer, is really what confused people don't buy. So you want to make it very clear what you do. And no problem going to my profile and taking that formula.
Awesome. And if you go to optimizeprofitability.com, find episode number 18, all of her links will be there, so you can find and click them and copy them. She gave you permission, so it's legal. But I like, one of the things I want to point out is you said, and you just kind of brushed over it, but your profile is written for your ideal customer.
Yes.
So many people write it for themselves. I was talking to a guy literally last week, and he's got his name and all these credentials after it. And he talks about, I'm this and this and this and this. Well, he talks about himself so much that you don't know who the client is that he's focused on. So I focus on like your about page on your website. It's it's about you, but it's about how you help your ideal customer. It's something about your story. So I've got a guy I deal with, he does generators. And so I was like, well, on your about page, let's tell the story of why you got your first generator. And he was at a Christmas party with his whole family, shows up and the electricity went out.
Wow.
That's a powerful story.
Absolutely.
Share that story. And so your story explains so much about why you do what you do, and it helps you to identify how you can connect to and relate to those ideal target customers.
Absolutely, 100%. This may sound a little harsh, but nobody cares about you. They only care about what you could do for them. Right. And once you keep that in your mind, like, no one cares that I have a marketing degree. Like nobody cares about that. How can I help you get more customers? Right. That's really what it's all about. So the focus does need to be on how you can help them. And I love that generator story. Like, that is so relatable. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially now with Christmas coming up, right? And Thanksgiving, like, that's so relatable. People will, resonate with that right away, versus you telling them, all the courses you took, or all the degrees you have, or all whatever. Right. I mean, it's not important in the bigger picture, because it's all about how you can help your ideal customer. And that's the mindset. It's how can I serve my ideal customer? It's always about them. What do they need? And how could I bridge that gap between what they need and what I have? That's really what it comes down to.
Right. That's some great words. So if you've been listening to this, go back and watch it again, because you'll probably pick up something else. And I want you to reach out and make conversations. Take 20 minutes on social media. Set a timer. Follow her example. Shondell said 20 minutes. She's in and out. But be pointed, be specific. Reach out to your ideal customers, grow your business, and then reach out to Shondell or myself and say, hey, I tried it and it worked for me. Thank you. Let us know we're helping. We want the conversation. Even if you're not our ideal customer, we still want to talk to you because we care about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs growing. One thing we talked about before this, entrepreneurs, you're not alone. That's why we do this. Shondell's your new friend. Lyle's your new friend. You have 2 new friends just by watching this video.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I get it. I've been, we've been here in Georgia for 6 years. So but I started the business before. So I'd say 8 years of kind of doing it, like just not having, that office where you just kind of go in every day, you see people, and you kind of take that for granted when you own your own business, especially if you're on an online business, because I took it for granted meeting, just being able to say hi, even just walking to the restroom and just seeing people and saying hi, or stopping at, someone's cubicle. Like I kind of, you don't realize how much you need that, especially if you're a people person. You don't realize how much you need that when you start your own business, especially if it's an online business. And yeah, I miss that. I definitely miss that.
I got a story to tell because we're going to talk about stories now. We're just going to ramble. So if you want to keep listening, please do. I'm part of a real estate community, and one lady is a huge relator. She's into people. And when we first got online, she's like, I hate this. So she'd get on Zoom and she would turn everybody's camera on so she could see faces.
Oh,
she didn't like just talking to blank screen. So she would have her whole thing covered. She'd be doing a presentation, but she'd have a whole screen covered in faces because she wanted to see faces.
Yes, that's like me. I love people. And I realized I love having an online business, but at the same time, I've had to, figure out how to still interact with people besides my 2 babies and my husband. Like I need more than that. So I go to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. and I meet my girlfriend and we work out together. So I try to do different things so I'm still, connecting with people, especially with the pandemic. So, I have to, and that just makes me happy. It keeps me, energized, and I need people in my life to function. So I love the podcast because it gives me an opportunity to meet new people, and I love the video podcast because some of the podcasts I do, they're not video, and I'm like, why not?
Yeah, that's why we did the video portion.
Yeah, I love
it. We live feed the video. We have it on a lot of places because we want people to see it and we want to be alerted.
Yes,
so we want people to see the faces. That's important.
Yes, especially now we need it. Right? Even if you don't, normally work from home, you may be working from home now just because, offices are closed and things like that. So it's nice to be able to just see people and, feel like you're here with us.
Right. Yeah. Because if you go to a store, half their face is covered up.
I know, you can't see. It's funny. I went to Kroger the other day. I went to Kroger and my husband just dropped me off and parked in the parking lot. And when I came out, I was waving to him to come to the front to pick me up. And another car started coming. So he thought I was his wife. And I said, I know, we all look alike with these masks on. It was just so funny because you don't know who's who with all of these masks on.
Exactly. Our last restaurant we went out to eat, I almost told the waiter to pull his mask down so I could just see what his face looked like. I just want to see the people.
Oh my God.
We were out with I think we went to a garage sale. We saw something at the garage sale, like, let's check this out.
Yeah.
And the guy was there and I was like, he pulled his mask down. He's like, sorry, I need to breathe. I was like, no, it's good to see a face.
Yes.
I love to see the smile of the face.
Yes. Because what I have to do is I have to look, because like when you smile, the eyes kind of squint. So I'm looking at people's eyes because that's the only way I can tell if they're smiling. It's so crazy nowadays. Forget the teeth. The teeth would tell you that they're smiling, but not anymore. We got to look at their eyes to see if they're smiling.
Exactly. And it's a lot harder that way.
The world we're living in now.
Yes. Hopefully we'll get out of this and it'll all be good. Thank you, Shondell, for being on here with us. I appreciate your extra time and this little tidbit about building relationships. Hopefully some of our entrepreneurs will gain some insights and be able to make their business be more impactful on others and their own lives.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Lots of fun.